Hello, Swain Baddie League. I am counting on this man who is to my right and is hopefully to my right on the stream, Mr. Thrifty Senpai, the Commissioner, who says that as of right now, you can all hear me. Given my track record with this man in recent weeks, I have reasons to doubt that that is true, but I want to believe. Welcome to Baddie Breakdown. I am so excited to be back. Oh my God, I had the stream unmuted. Well, it's working. I heard my own echo. Yo, what's up, guys? So I'm real excited to be here. We still have pretty much all of our viewership from tonight, which is awesome. Very, very successful stream, 40 to 55 viewers across the whole night, which is really, really good for the SBL. So good job, team. For those of you that are new or maybe don't remember, Baddie Breakdown is, since the SBL came back a few years ago, we've been doing this kind of after the game breakdown show through the duration of the regular season. Talk about it's bullshit sports radio. We're going to shit out a bunch of players. So before we start, I just want to remind you, we do a Twitch Q&A at the end. So whether we answer any of those Qs depends on if you have good questions to ask. So folks, if you think of any good questions about the SBL in general, any angle you want, pitch them in the chat. We'll either hit them as we go if they're super relevant, or we'll hit them at the end. So please pitch those questions. I'm Jazir. You can read everyone's names on the stream. What do you want to say, Trey?
I was going to say we do a sound check real quick.
Everyone's good. No, the thing was
some
that
of you guys panicking, some of chat panicking is literally because Wang and I have not talked yet.
Yeah.
That is just Swift going off.
Yeah, everyone's like, we can't hear anyone else.
They're not talking, dipshits. You can see him. Does he look like his mouth is moving? Use your eyes, Twitch chat. So we are going to make a slight change from the past. So we got a few segments we're going to do. We're going to start with the iconic one, stock up and stock down. This is a weekly tracker of how our perception is changing about players. This is usually really fun at the start of the season because we usually have strong opinions about everyone, and those opinions have probably shifted a little bit tonight. However, unlike in prior seasons, we're going to debate this live as we go. So the four of us together are going to try to decide whose stocks went up and whose stocks went down tonight. Guys, I've been going for a while. Tim, you're the commissioner. Take it away.
Stocks up, Mr. Tuesday.
Stocks down, Lazy Laz.
So if are we going from just the first game or any game right off the bat?
Any game.
Any game up. Any game, CAC stock up.
Ooh, that's good. I don't disagree with anything. I don't disagree with
CAC's
anything
very
so far.
good. CAC stock way up.
Yeah, I agree. We should talk about these players as we go. That was traditionally part of this segment. Wang's just like, I agree, my turn. Act like you've been here before, dumbass.
Mr. Tuesday went for like half the price of like these spotlights. He fucking popped off the first game and like single-handedly kept his team in when things were going really bad. That Tristana was destroying people, insane numbers coming out of that thing. And then in the second game, like, Disrespect Joey lane is like a very, very strong bot lane, and like him and 30 just held their own super good. They've looked great in scrims as well. Like, I'm way up on Mr. Tuesday.
Can confirm, did get exploded by Tristana. He played very well.
And even in his L at the end, I mean, like he was still like relevant the whole game, and he was not one of the reasons why they lost.
Yeah. I guess the only thing I would even push back on with this is his stock really up if his stock should have been high already? Because I think it should have been. He has a legitimate chance to be the second best player on a team that I said if they don't win, it's a failure for every player involved. Like, I don't know. I was maybe higher on him than you guys, but like, this is what he does. He doesn't make mistakes. He cleans up fights.
He looked great, but the thing is, like, look at how much he went for the draft, right? Like, he went for like $3 or something in the draft.
Yeah, drafters, all fucking idiots. That's why they don't get to play the game, and they have to get relegated to being drafters. I'll take it. Tuesday's a decent stock up from the draft position. He played really good tonight. I think he's gonna play good all season.
So yeah, on to Trees. CAC stock up.
Yeah, he looked fucking solid on that Zach. I know, I believe he's one of the people we only got one game out of tonight. Yeah, looks like it. But like, those Zach jumps were perfect. He almost accidentally blocked a Caitlyn ult.
Dude, when I saw that coming, I was like, if you saved my life right there, I would have just. Oh god, I would have paid you so much money. I would
We
have
were
lost my mind.
losing our mind on the cast of that because then I was like, "Can you even block
You sure can.
this?" But yes, that's what
yeah.
Labour, the league expert, confirmed for us in the chat. So Cax just fucked it up. So I guess stock down for that. But no, he was sick tonight. I mean, this is it's.
Yeah.
We've been talking about it since the draft, but like if that team's going to be good, it's probably going to mean that Cax is an above-average player to make it a strong top side. And tonight, he looked like exactly the kind of player he needed to be on that team for that team to be a winning team. I was super excited. One might say top 2 jungler in the SBL. Wang, you had a stock up.
I had a stock down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's go to stock down.
Oh wow! Wait, wow! Holy shit! We're just going.
But,
No, that's not true.
We can do whatever we want here.
That's fair. Okay, that's true. We do run the show.
Yeah, that is true. I'm going to stock up, though, because I got to eventually build some positive goodwill here, and you guys didn't take mine, which I'm really happy about. I want to stock up Phoenix Plays. You guys just pulled this massive comeback win on the team. Like, I was already writing the narrative halfway through Game 3 tonight about how high expectations aren't going to lose a game and how stacked they are and how 2 players can have shitty games and they're still going to stomp games. And then they were just like, what if we threw instead? And Phoenix Blaze was like, he was not just the engine of the comeback, he was like the transmission system, he was the fucking body. And also, this wasn't a car, it was a fucking dragon tank from space. Like,
right.
Absolutely popping off. As somebody who has not watched that much of this new Aurelion Sol that I've just heard so much about, I was like, oh, I get it. This is really good, huh?
Right. So that's why I'm hesitant to say stocks up on him from the Soul game, because this is going to be a conversation we're going to have later about Soul, is like, how much of this is just the dragon?
I thought he played really good in his Ziggs game, though, too. And I thought he played better than his scoreline. He had a bunch of fights where I was like, damn, dude, like, he's getting some DPS out. He was in a lot of right places at the right time.
Look at his damage. Like, obviously, Ziggs has an inflated damage chart compared to other champs in the game, but he was still like double everybody else's damage.
Not everybody's. On his team, maybe.
Yeah, everyone on his team.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was just saying.
I'd also add that like Aurelion is maybe a bit different, a more playmaky of a champ than we normally think of him playing on, and the fact that he was able to just like, this is best, so I'm picking it.
The only reason why I didn't pick Phoenix Plays for stock is like I'm way higher on Phoenix Plays than a lot of other people, because like I think he's just like actually like he like goes for criminally cheap every time, and then he like hangs against every single mid laner in the league to like a decent degree, except for Blab sometimes just stomps him out of nowhere. Which is like because really
they play
bizarre.
together.
Yeah, which is like really
constantly.
bizarro. But,
and they also play like the same champions.
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah,
they have the same
like,
pool.
You get
it's
some
like
weird stuff with that sometimes.
Phoenix
but,
is like Blab Light.
Yeah, but like you get these Blab Light, but you get them for like $1, and this man just hangs like with the best of them.
So I think that's some good stock ups. Any other major contenders that you think we missed? I've got some I could throw out there, but I don't think they're that important.
We can save some for next week. We'll see how we can.
Yeah.
Play good next week, folks. You could put yourself on this list. All it takes is 1 or 2 good games.
Yeah. I'd like to see more the other half of the league playing 2 games next week.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to like make some like snap decisions off of one game. A little bit, but not a ton, right?
Yeah.
All right, on to what the people came for. Stock down.
I stocked down Lazy Lads. I thought he was supposed to be like absurdly good, and it's not like he has a bad support in his lane either. And we didn't see him getting items for a long portion of that game.
Yeah, maybe there was just too much hype like into the draft where everyone took way too much stock on charity tournament. Like I was saying this after the preseason games, like what if he's just not good? Like this team might be fucked. It's
partly charity tournament, but partly he's like one of the only AD carries that have ever even hit plat before. Like, I don't know, man.
Half of the former plat players in SBL history are just bad at the game.
All right,
he's hit diamond.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's
like this guy. I like, and like if you look through his he doesn't play a ton of games of League of Legends, which is, I mean, an issue in that regard. But like his win rates are all real good. I don't know. I was expecting more out of him tonight.
Fair. I think that's a level of like how much you expect from them. Like I don't think he looked
Right.
like he didn't look bad tonight, but like if you're expecting him to be like the AD carry, like you're expecting him to come in and he's just gonna fucking just dominate everyone in his role, then
that's personally that's what I was expecting.
Any other
Sorry, I had to pin something out of chat. Yeah. Oh god, I have a whole ass list. I think we gotta mute your mic, my man. Can I right click and mute this guy? Stop that, Wang. It would be one thing if you hadn't just talked a bunch of shit on the drunk stream about being a top 2 jungler, which I know you've now run back when you're sober because you're a little bit of a scaredy cat. But I was making jokes in Twitch chat. I was like, maybe it's not benching Phoenix Blaze or Numbnuts. Maybe it's benching Wang for Numbnuts. Like, this was vintage, original, first 3 years SBL Wang tonight. And I thought that man was dead and buried. And I'm worried. You look like you play 1,000 games of solo queue a year, and I mean that as an insult. What was going on? Just absolutely brain dead. 2 games. You should have only had 1 game, so I would maybe not overreact. But 2 games, I'm panicking. Full on panic, selling my Wang stock, crashing faster than fucking Silicon Valley Bank right now.
Yeah, I learned quite a bit about tonight. Just at that.
I think he's trying to talk, but I have him like segregated. This is great, dude. Admin abuse is fun. You guys agree with me?
I still hear him, but
we hear him.
Someone chat bring out a huge point. Wang secured more jungle objectives by stealing them tonight than he did by setting them up.
Yeah, you had a few steals.
I was say the thing is, there is one thing you could tell though for him still. He still does have the fastest fucking smites in this league. This
as long as you rule out the ones that he misses.
Huh? I didn't miss any smites.
There was at least one I remember that was bad.
There was literally not a smite that I missed.
I don't agree.
No, like we were only
I'm not here to get
jungle objectives.
I'm not here to get
jungle objectives, and 2 of them were like dragons.
But
yeah, no, I actually yelled it before my team on that first Baron. I was like, I'm the best smiter in the league, right? And then
Wang is.
We did, yeah. The second one, where like I called it before. I'm like, I don't even give a shit if he steals this. I either get a Baron or a kill, and then we win.
On that second one, it was like basically gone. But I was like, you know what? This is gonna be fun anyways, and like.
No, I respect
the only man to hit double-digit deaths tonight across 3 games, which is some hallowed territory. The 4-13 Nocturne game is.
Not good. Not good.
No.
That ain't getting banned next week. I can say that much. All right, that's enough about Wang though. What stock down? Anyone's up.
I don't know that I have another stock down.
No, I think most people have performed like around what I was expecting. Actually, no, I take that back.
There's a few that are there's one that like I feel like should have done more, and I felt like that he wasn't around for the game in either one of his games, and that was Tebestaplan. I felt like that he didn't perform as the carry I expected him. But did he have a bad game? Not really. He's got 2-2-12 on the Cassiopeia game that went 42 minutes and didn't get kills. And then he was the Yone versus Aurelian Sorrel, which he should have dominated that lane and didn't get a chance to do that.
Got he had momentum going, but yeah.
He was definitely helped driving the throw train in that last game. Which was that was a joint effort. Like
that was a team effort.
Yeah, I mean, Splinter with his also sitting at 9 deaths in that game didn't help him. But
yeah. The only one I wasn't as egregious. The Cassiopeia one was pretty underwhelming. I'm surprised picking Cassie into Vel'Koz is already kind of not great because you don't really have much lane agency. It's it's just you're just turning into a farm lane and it's Blab's Vel'Koz, so he's gonna do shit in team fights. But So sure, you're gonna be a farm lane, but you need to do something in a team fight afterwards. And like he just never had very large team. I never felt like it was like a big team fight presence compared to like other people on his team.
I got one more I'll throw out. I think it's past his bedtime, so he's probably not still watching, so I'm safe. But I think I gotta knock down Joey. I thought he had a pretty underwhelming night.
Joey is watching.
Well, fuck. Joey, cover your ears. I just, like, how do you run it down on Braum? That's, like, impossible.
Well, did you see his Nami?
I know how he runs it down on Nami. I have read that story a lot of times in a lot of languages.
He was 0-3 and 20 on Nami.
It was a bad 0-3.
The problem was the 3 looked really bad because of how they were like late and they mattered a lot.
Just walking into like
Joey's Nami looked like really, really good for 98% of the game. But there was 2 points in particular that were like really rough. But I give him the benefit of the doubt because like I don't know, it's really easy to fuck on the Nami game. I think the Nami game was good overall.
No, to be honest, the Nami game was not that bad. It's just the couple deaths he had looked really bad because of when they were.
Yeah. They were just like they were like classic like goober plays, right? Where you're like, I'm gonna get this ward, and you're like, no, don't get the ward. He's like, I'm gonna get it. And then, there's like next thing you know, you're like poking at the Rakan, you're like, supports do support things, and then the whole team's there and you're like, oh, I'm fucking dead.
I just thought like bot lane in that
it was
game
just
was
a prank.
Like, kind of part of why that deficit existed in the first place. And
really,
I would also add
bot lane was fine. Bot lane was good that game. They were ahead. They were ahead.
A little.
The deficit on that game was top. SBL Bad Boy came in clapping.
I'm thinking like the 20-minute mark, not like the early lane phase mark, but that's a great segue into the next one.
I would not. I'm against stocks down on Joey overall. I will fight that one. I'll stand up for him.
Right, we'll keep him off the list. Commissioner gets to choose here. Keep this one in the
you can keep that on the back
pocket for next week. We'll keep an eye on it for next week because now we have a vested interest here.
Yeah, there we go. We have the ticker. We have the ticker on Joey stock.
But it is a great segue into our next segments that halfway through game 3 was so wrote in stone. And now it's a really interesting conversation, which is, should high expectations be the clear favorites? I've obviously made a bunch of really strong statements on stream. They've won both of their preseason games. They won their first game tonight. They were up, 5K at 15, 16 minutes? It was early. Like, they're going to win that game 8 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10. I don't know anymore. I can't believe how many questions I have after watching them throw that one. Like, that's one, like, if you're even capable of throwing games like that, I now fundamentally question the team. And now I am really shook.
Nah, see, all right, time for the other conversation we talked about. I think it was Soul. Like, Soul is such a fucking problem with stacks. It's insane.
So, I got a question, and I kind of said this during our game. How many of those players do you think have actually seen that many souls? Because that is full of a bunch of players that I think are good that don't play the game a ton.
I do not know how many games they've all played recently. I think they've played a lot since the start of the SBL.
Yeah, they've gotten a lot of games in as a squad.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean you're going to see Soul because he's banned a lot.
57% ban rate on UGG.
But
only a 51.08 win rate.
Now, going on Tree's thing, though, here's the hot take on it. Is Aesol a red side must ban in this league right now? Does blue side, is he that? Like, is it that? It's just like, you don't ban Aesol,
SBL,
they first pick it, you'll lose? Is that the deal?
People need to either learn how to end a game early or start banning Soul. And which one do you think is more likely in the SBL?
Probably just start banning Soul.
Exactly.
I mean, all 4 mid laners play it too.
Yeah, it's true. Every single mid laner plays it. So.
And it's not like any of them gave up on it. And most of the mid laners don't play its counters. Like, right now, in solo queue at least, his counters are basically Yone and Fizz. and those are like basically your two options. And we don't have, I mean, we have Thrifty that plays a little bit of Yone. I guess, yeah. No, I mean, and then Tebestis one played Yone tonight. I don't know how many games he's actually had on that Yone.
He's got at least a few. Like I know,
does
like
he?
yeah,
Okay.
he's got at least 2 in his match history from it. Because I was looking that up because I was curious. But
and then we don't have any fizz. But then that also shoehorns you into an 80 mid lane, which means you got to have an AP jungler or an AP top, which are also a little bit light in the league. So it shoehorns you into a weird game plan.
At least Yone has some magic damage.
Yeah.
It does,
also,
but I mean,
Fizz is like, and if we did have Fizz players, Fizz is such a feast or famine champion where it's like you're 100% all in on clapping that lane. So like the whole you're just really doubling down on like we're gonna win this game by 30 minutes, hell or high water, or we'll serve it up to you on a platter.
So that all being said, I still think they're probably the best team on paper right now, but I think they just weren't. They didn't plan well enough around Soul.
I honestly think if they were up 3K instead of the 6K or whatever, I bet they win that game. I think they started fucking around because they were up so much. And you know how it gets sometimes, like in pre-made,
really
it's like you clap so hard and then suddenly you're like, holy shit, we threw this.
Yep.
And like by the time you say that, it's like too late. Like you've thrown it. You're not throwing, you have thrown. And I got a feeling that if anything, it might be good for them that this happened early in the season because maybe it's a wake-up call to be like, yo, let's end. Like, we can just literally win this through top lane. We don't have to do a single right thing on the map anywhere else.
I think the big things is, Cal calling himself out. Is that the Cal effect? that is the Cal Lucian for sure. That's the classic Cal Lucian. But yeah, I think I have to agree with you. I still think this team's still the strongest on paper, but I think looking at this, I think this league's a lot closer than anyone expected it to be, at least coming in week 1. Like, we had 3 very competitive games. And, like, we don't have any team that's 2-0 coming out week 1.
Feels good.
That's a good start for what's going to be a long regular season. So
yeah,
I'm excited for the triple round robin.
Yeah, I was like, if we have like a team, like, oh god, if we had a triple round robin, we have a team that goes like 9-0, I'm like, oh, fucking kill me. What a mistake.
I would be shocked.
I would be too, but you know.
We've had teams that flirt with it, but no one ever gets there, and I think we're worse than we used to be.
Oh yeah, we are. That is a definite statement. I think every single person in the league's worse than they used to be.
We're washed.
We are definitely washed.
So last segment here, we were talking about this was going to be a little more wide-reaching, I think, but we were going to just generally talk about team mental because I think everyone has spent a lot of time. I've heard so many like pot shot comments at various teams about how bad the mental of various players is, various teams are, which people are dragging teams down, which people don't know how to lose. That's, maybe one of the biggest skills that I'm like still shocked that there's people that have played this game for 12 years that they just don't know how to lose. Anyone have any thoughts about team mental, or should I just start shitting on people?
Holy shit. This man's fucking ready. He's just like, I got a list. He's got a notebook. It's like, he's like here. He holds it up. He's like, you want to fucking go?
I will kill you.
Yeah, he's like, I will kill you. I will slay your mental.
I will kill your League of Legends skills. No, I went to in the name and you ants next week.
Yeah, he thought what he was going to say here is he wants to bring this up where he's like, yeah, here, everyone, I'm going to give you my 5 self-help tips on how to build strong mental so I can feel better after I kill you. After I destroy you mentally. That's what this man wants to do. He wants to fucking boom the entire league. He's like, I'm out. My mental's safe. I don't have to play the game.
My mental's pretty good right now, man. It's retirement was a good choice. I'll open the floor. I'll open the floor to you. Tim, particularly to you, but to the group as a whole. You are a veteran, top-level player. Your mental state is going to be a significant part of how your team's mental goes. So how do you manage to proceed in a way where, regardless of whether you're on a good team, a bad team, whether you're winning, whether you're losing, how do you manage to play the game in a way where your teammates don't hate playing with you.
That's like a really great question that I don't have a really great answer for, unfortunately. I don't know. Whenever I'm trying to play a game like where I know that I'm like required to be like a primary voice or things like that, I'm trying to look to like we're gonna focus. It's gonna be like really stereotypical. Like I'm trying to be like we're gonna be positive. We're gonna try to be proactive. So like I'm gonna try and be like, hey, this is what we're gonna work on, so that we're not trying to think about like whatever went wrong. Like we're gonna work towards this. We're just gonna all be on the same page. If we win together, we win together. If we fail together, we fail together. That's how it goes. And it's just like don't get caught up on little things. Like if someone makes a mistake and it's like, well, fuck it. There's no point ruminating on it. We're gonna deal with it. We're gonna figure it out. Or if like something went wrong, well, we're just gonna have to audible and figure it out. And like, it's just kind of like trying to maintain like an always positive mentality on it, and not getting caught up on the little shit. Like, because it's really easy in games like this to be like, oh fuck, I lost this trade. Now I have to lose the lane because I'm gonna lose 6 minions here, and I'm at the back early, and then he's gonna get the next level and roam pressure. And it's so easy to just let that snowball out of your control. Like, and you just gotta I don't know. It's something that you have to just fucking try and keep grounded, and like it's not an easy skill. But if you have someone and like people are willing to feed, like people will look to that. Like if you have someone who does stay grounded on the team, like they can anchor down other people really easy. It's like when like people will follow the emotions of other people. That's just how it works.
I think it's really easy is a key point that I feel. And that's why I'm always shocked at how many people are fucking awful at it.
It's like it's one of those things that it's really easy to be bad at it too, right? Like it's like so easy to just be like get caught up in your own head.
I think to sink in on the sports analogies a bit, this is something that, like you hear in basketball a lot, where like not everyone can be the best player in the world. Most people, no matter how hard they try, there is no secret. Like they can never be the best player on a team, even, or more than whatever they are. And part of being like a good teammate is being able to recognize what your teammates are. Obviously, with the draft, like we have a very specific system where like everyone has a role that they get slotted into to start with. And this is a thing where sometimes traditionally it was worse, where like you would see like the star players on team that would take all of the credit for winning, but none of the credit for losing. And that's something that the people I go in, well, back in the day, there's not as many people that do this these days. But I used to go in on those people really hard because like I legitimately fucking despise people that do that. Like fucking, you all know who I'm thinking about. And it's just a thing, like I think you have to, like, if you're the best player, you have to really like be responsible. Like if you were a $9 player, that wasn't a mistake. That wasn't like, oh, fucking drafters threw her. Like you have to play good every game. And League of Legends is a really hard game to play good in every game. And like you have to really be critical of yourself and figure out the way to be the best version of yourself, because your team will not win if you are not. And that applies to everybody. But we would see back in the day where like I would see some of these best players, they would just like get mad at their teammates for not being more than they are. And whether it's somebody that hasn't played the game a ton, whether it's somebody like, we have people in this game that have played thousands of games and they're not that good and they're never going to be that good. At some point, you kind of are who you are. And so if you go and you're like, this is the year. This is the year that Swift is going to out jungle Wes. Like, no, if you think that, you're fucking stupid. I thought that. I'm fucking stupid. Like, it's fucking easy. Just like be real about who these players are. And try to help them be the best version of themselves. Not being like, God damn it, if the fucking 5th player on my team wouldn't be so bad. Like, figure out what they're good at, figure out how to set them up. And it's not easy. And I think that's one of the exciting things about the SBL is you get to see every player gets to contribute. I feel like I just hit like 7 different points across all that, but amen.
Dude, some of the hypest shit in the SBL is when teams like that were struggling and they figure it out and it clicks.
Dude, how many teams did we have go from like 0-4 to 4-4 and like make playoffs.
I'm trying to remember. Was it tilted forward? I'm trying to remember. There was a
table for 4.
Table for 4 that went. They started the season off 0-5, and they run it back to 5-5, and they were like looking fucking crisp for the 5-5, and they ended up getting ruined because they beat they could crush every team except for one, and they ended up having to play them in the tiebreaker for the last playoff spot. Because this was back when we were in a 6-team league. And they ended up like not making it to playoffs because of that, and everyone was like, "Holy shit, thank God!" Because these people were just crushing. I remember like
it was one trick bronies. I need to correct that. It was one trick bronies.
So I remember like
no one liked table for 4.
Yeah, I was like, I'm sitting here. I'm like on like the second or third position. I'm like, I cannot. I'm like, oh God, dude, they will destroy us if we face them again. I'm like, we can't. I'm like, I'm rooting so hard against these people.
It is the only team in SBL history where it's like, I am positive they would have just won the fucking championship if they had made the playoffs.
No doubt in my mind. I was just like
0-5 to 5-5, lose the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Probably the most heartbreaking game in SBL history.
It's up
Waifu
there.
Superstars versus Boosted Friendship.
Oh God, Phoenix Rising.
Heartbreaking the game.
Phoenix Rising was also a heartbreaker.
Damn, Hook Resets was a $2.50 player on that team. Was that before Cal was good?
Did he just like pop up as a diamond player? Oh, also back then.
That's a trick question. Cal, you're not good.
Has Cal ever won an SBL?
Through no fault of his own.
Oh God.
One of my favorite things to gaslight people is to always make the statement like, you know who I'm thinking about, and then watch people in Twitch chat.
And you like actually have no one in mind, and you're. Cal won his first season. It was all downhill from there. You should have.
Nobody spent money for him.
That's the trick. Oh man.
He was just a support player that was high elo, and we had like a bajillion of those.
Mm-hmm.
We're still doing pretty good on time, right?
Yeah, we're probably we got like a few more minutes to cover, and then we'll move to Twitch questions.
Have we had any good Twitch? Dude, Twitch chat's been blowing up tonight, so like I have not seen anything. So if you've had questions, you should repost them.
Yeah.
I can scout Twitch
Joey's
chat.
top lane Emporium.
Oh, I mean, 100%. Joey's top lane Emporium was 100% a better love story than Twilight.
I think I made out with the love story on that.
Yeah, that is your story. That is your story.
that's my love story.
Yeah, congrats,
I married her.
Your marriage is
objectively
better than Twilight.
Speaking of bad, why is everyone shot calling so bad? We've been playing this game for 12 years.
Oof. Macro hard, always has been. SBL.
Yeah.
SBL teams pick global alts, and they just hope they fucking use them to cover their mistakes.
Global alts or big team fight wombo. Yeah. I think it's macro hard. I think also a lot of teams are still just figuring shit out.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of like, because that's like something that's weird about SBL is like you can't always play to like what like the definitive meta is, and that's something that like it's always interesting sort of like because like right now is like in pro play it's a very very dragon focused bot lane driven meta, right? And that's just not an option that every SBL team has because the way your big where your big bucks are, right? If you draft a $10 like if you drop Shopman, like if this like you drop Shopman, you're probably going to be a top lane centric team. Like that's so all of a sudden now you're like, well, we can't play the playbook that like you see on pro games and everything like that. So you kind of have to figure out your own playbook.
Yeah, I think that was always the wild thing to me was like across 10 years of this fucking thing, how many teams just don't play to the things they're good at because they try to play to the things that they think are objectively good. And you playing the thing you're good at 100% is way better than playing the thing that's like 3% better that you're only 70% as good at. And if you haven't figured that out on your own, you're fucking stupid. Like, get it together, people. Shot calling's easy. I could do it. Why can't you? I do think Thrifty, your team, I think is the one team I expect to have good shot calling consistently. I thought the Master Splinter team was going to have good shot calling, but if Wes is washed on anything, it's the shot calling. I think his shot calling's not good anymore. And that game tonight confirmed that, and now you have to re-earn the shot calling title.
I'm sure he'll look forward to because he's assuredly asleep after this. But I'm
He'll
sure
watch this later.
He'll watch this later, and I'm sure he's gonna love to look forward to that challenge. Because there's like anything, the only thing that Wes almost loves as much as winning is proving people wrong when it's about him. Yeah, spite, man. That man loves a good challenge.
All right. I don't know if we had any good questions in Twitch chat.
Yeah,
so
Twitch chat, shoot out some questions here. We'll ramble for a minute or two, but yeah, unless you get something right now.
Scrolling to see if there's anything good. I should
I'm gonna look up and see.
I didn't see a ton of questions yet.
No.
Damn, dude, that's as far as it goes. What the fuck?
How do you think the team fights would have gone in the first game if Maokai would have used his R? As somebody casting that game, I really, really wanted him to use his R so much more than he did.
As someone in that game in team comms with him, that was literally what we told him. I was like, just put it on cooldown. Just use the button.
The first time he used it, he killed Master Splitter.
You can see it at the end because he would toss the ults out from behind his own team's backline before a fight had broke out with no hope of catching anything on the enemy team.
But that was still a step better. That was still a step better than not using it.
I was going to stock down him, but we had better options, and
I forgot
don't know
about that.
if anyone expected him to be
I also
any good.
no, I expect him to be something that gets better as we go on. Getting shoved into an off-roll is a time-honored SBL tradition of this is going to be rough, and jungle is like the worst one to get shoved into.
On one hand, I want to agree with that, but on the other hand, you're wrong, and this is why. There was not a single. Normally, you see potential. There was not a shred of hope in that game from Salvo. I did not see a single second of gameplay. Not one fucking iota where I was like, okay, this is what he can grow on. This is the tree, or this is the little sapling that will soon grow into a mighty tree that can protect his team. He was like,
yeah.
He was, hey, Google, what's the word for a dead plant?
It's not giving it to you. What? I think Swift and I got it right away on the cast. Is why didn't you just play the person who literally has been a jungler for multiple seasons?
Yeah,
that's on your bench.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here.
Hey, Google, stop.
Wait,
yeah,
Master Splinter's in solo queue right now? Is that what?
Oh, don't ever listen to his lies about how he's not going to play. Like,
oh, yeah, no.
Season starts, he's going to play nonstop. 6 hours of sleep a night. Got to get that grind on. Got to carry.
Yeah,
he lost. Like, he lost an embarrassing game and he played bad. Like, he's definitely playing 40 games this week.
Let's see here. We have Chai asking, if you're the worst player on the team or on the bench, what is the solid way to improve at your game? As in, most efficient with the time you have.
That's way too
broad.
That's
very broad.
I think you need to focus on the things outside of playing the game. I think you need to watch guides, read guides, watch streams. You need to invest some amount of time to not playing the game, doing your own VOD reviews.
Going to like summoner school, like our summoner school.
Yeah.
Watching
anything that involves the strategy, because if you're in like bronze, you have so many things you need to work on that improving at any of them will be a noticeable improvement. And by pursuing guides and whatnot, you're going to accidentally improve at least one of them and probably more. I'm a big fan of doing some VOD reviews. I know I've spoken with some low elo players that have done VOD reviews recently and have found a ton of value in that, like with another person, like coaching you, like a person you know. It doesn't have to be like go on MetaFind or a coach or anything.
Yeah.
Like just watch your games, because you should be able to, like, while watching back a game, remember what your thought process was going into situations and evaluate, like, don't worry about the outcome, just evaluate the process. Be like, what was I thinking that was wrong here? How did I set myself up for either outright setting myself up for failure or set myself in a situation where it was going to be really hard to succeed? Because like this is true at all levels of skill. A lot of players, they think like, oh, I won that fight, therefore it was good. And sometimes like you just outskill a fight and win a fight. And it's like you should be thinking about why the setup was bad, even though you won the fight. So that would be my recommendation. Because if you're the worst player in the league, I think that's a really exciting place to be as an SBL player. If you're the fifth person on a team, if you improve at all, you are such a huge benefit to your team because there's not going to be any pressure on you, and every win you get, like your team is counting on you to be a 0 in the game, and if you're a 5 instead of a 0, like that literally swings championships at the SBL.
Oh yeah. The SBL teams like championships are so oftenly decided not by the star players but by the role filler. It's like it's the people who get paired with them that actually like
look at last season, like in
Yeah.
the finals where we had Tankax, like literally didn't win lanes, but looked like a fucking god, and like because he didn't lose the lane.
Also,
Like
this is a very fun question.
Is it Joey's?
Oh, Joey's is also good.
I think Joey deserves his, but you go first.
I give Joey's next because this next one will be really quick. Swift, hot take right now. If you could replace anyone on any team, which team are you in on?
Oh. Ooh, that's tough, actually. Oh wait, no, this is easy. I'm overthinking it. Goodbye, Tizzy.
Wow.
Wait. Is this replacement for their bench player?
Goodbye, Candy. Goodbye, Candy. Tizzy can be my support. I didn't even think about switching her role. Holy shit, we're fucking 9-0, 3-0, SBL champion, league canceled, dude. That would be so free. It would be like last season's team, but good.
All right. So moving on from Swiss Fantasy, though, Joey has a great fucking question. Joey, there's some salt in this from his almost stonks down. So Joey goes for 125, but is seen as supposed to be good, and then plays Braum for the first time in the league and feeds, but plays Nami and dies 3 times to Ward Wars. How does this cause stonks down?
Is that a question for me?
I mean, that is a question for whoever said stonks down for Joey.
Well, that was me.
So, that was you, yeah.
If you were a former platinum player, I hold you to a higher standard than what you were drafted at.
Yeah, that's super fair because there's a lot of people who go for a weird amount of money, and that's not what we're expecting out of them. Like the amount of money you go for is not the entirety of your expectation.
I think so, and this is maybe an interesting point that I don't know if I've ever really hammered home on stream before, but it definitely comes up. Like when some people will, let's say somebody who is either currently higher rank or at least like peak rank was higher rank that has been like a much devalued player in the SBL and holds up their rank as kind of, they're like, no, actually, I'm good at the game. Read the rank, idiot. To me, your solo queue rank, it's kind of like when you apply for a job and you put your college GPA on a resume. If you've never worked professionally before, if you've never played in pre-made like tournament style League of Legends, then that's a super great starting point to give me an idea of what you're like. It does not tell a whole story. It does not tell me how good you are. It is a brief idea of how much potential might be there, but it's not the only factor. And it may just outright be wrong by a huge margin. The further you get into your career, the less it matters. If you've worked for 10 years in your industry, no one gives a shit what your grades were in college. You're actually probably a loser if you put them on your resume. I'm going to be real sad. I got to take my GPA off my resume the next time I apply for something. I was very proud of it. If you've been playing in the SBL for 10 years, I now have so many data points on what kind of a player you are in pre-made League of Legends that your rank is now like 15% of the equation. Like it's an incredibly small amount because I don't value rank. I value what people do in pre-made League of Legends. I think it's such a completely different game. And we've seen so many players like I don't think he's watching anymore. Like Zach. If I remember, Zachary GG was like the iconic, like, damn, dude, this guy's like Plat 1, Diamond 5 every single season. How does he go 4-9 in every single jungle game he's played for 3 straight years? Like, we've seen plenty of players over the years where it's just they're not the player that their rank is. And so that's my evaluation is always coming from weighing the SBL games much more heavily than anything else, if that makes sense.
Let's see. What other... There was a couple other good questions here. No. Salvo asks, is there going to be a team that switches up the starting 5 from this week to last week that will outperform their record during the regular season once they make it to playoffs?
Wait, what?
Is there going to be somebody?
Is there going to be a roster swap partway through the season that's going to make a team drastically change their performance?
Yes. I don't know which one, but yes.
I think there's going to. I think at least between one of the teams. There's so much, like,
yeah.
gray
I mean,
areas
like
of the
who?
teams.
There was another question, like who's the best bench out there too, and
Yeah.
Twitch chat too. That was kind of along the
Best bench
trying to
is
think of
probably
who-
Tank Axe right now. Like, who didn't play this week?
Yeah, maybe.
It's that or Numbnuts.
Numbnuts is really, really good.
Yeah, Numbnuts is very good. It's tough.
Yeah, that would be tough. I'd need to see Numbnuts play like in a real season, because we let him play twice last week. During
for scrims.
But
yeah,
for scrims.
Didn't you play Tank Axe in one of the games? Or did you play
wrong team? We did play.
Oh, Wayne, you played Phoenix one game and you played Numbnuts the other. Right?
So we played 3 games technically.
They played.
So we played. And so I played mid, top, and jungle between all of them.
Well, that one
so
doesn't count because it wasn't in my notes.
Well, I posted it.
We just gave that man a nice chub before he goes to bed. Good work, boys. I love chubbing the boys up.
Let's see.
Any other banger questions in chat?
Nothing else I'm seeing.
Anything else I need to go on a 5-minute rant about? I feel like you guys have been getting this pure fucking like AJS concentrate on the stream tonight.
No, I think we hit all the big questions.
Yeah.
Twitch chat, who do you want me to give me a player? I'll shit on them.
You gotta go quick. If you don't give an answer in 5 seconds, I'm cutting the stream.
No, we're a few seconds behind. I guarantee someone will want to hear our rants.
Yep. We're giving it.
We'll get a banger answer here.
Oh, that was a good question from John. I did skim that one. I meant to say it earlier.
Do you guys think that the meta influences how well some people perform in the SBL?
100%.
Absolutely.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Because there's just certain characters that when they come back into the meta, this person's already a fucking god on it, and they just get easy wins or free bans from it.
Yep. Especially people who have smaller champion pools. When they only have when someone's got a smaller champion pool and they only play 4 champions and all 4 of their champions are meta, that makes them so much more relevant than when you have a champion that's a 48%er and it's well, guess we're just gonna have to deal with this because the only other champ that you're decent at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's especially for the 4th, 5th player on a team where if your whatever is good in the meta is also what you're good at, that's really, really huge. The best players, even if what they play is Mad Cow doesn't have to play the meta champs. Mad Cow can play the Mad Cow champs, and he's going to pop off every game. Splinter doesn't have to play the meta champs. He can play the Splinter champs. He's going to pop off every game. But if you're the 4th player on the team, you can't hijack your entire team's draft to play through your fucking Teemo that you want to play. You gotta fit the roster around you. So I agree to an extent. It's always interesting. It's one of those things that so hard to analyze over long periods of time, who's benefited and who's been hurt. I mean, I've been fucked. It's always been bad metas for me in the SBL. Good metas for me outside the SBL. Which is the difference between me and my 7 SBL championships.
Damn, dude, I didn't realize 2% win rate was gonna fucking dick you so hard. Holy shit.
Those are the advanced Johns.
Did you play when Udyr was broke? Udyr's still broke.
They killed my 69% weight Pantheon.
Yeah, he's mostly I
kept playing him in ranked anyways when he was a 42% win rate, and I just tanked the fuck out of that win rate a bit, but I'm pretty sure he was still pretty high.
I can't believe Wes has put that many games on Pantheon this season. I looked at his
man
his match history and
Chads play Pantheon, dude. It's simple.
He's a 47% win rate jungler right now.
Bam. Also, when you ask for, I'm gonna point out that you are all a bunch of fucking masochists. We had like 3 people ask for them to for you to roast themselves when we had that
I'm not roasting Joey. He's gotten enough out of me, and he takes it personally. Who else wanted to be roasted?
Candy and Bonkrank.
Candy?
And he hasn't even played a game.
No, that's the problem. Candy McJackal Jack. All right, Candle Jack. How in the world can you have been I was a top 1% player in Dota 2 with 3 roles, and I was top 5% at the other 2, and you can't get out of fucking bronze in League of Legends? That's like, do you have a learning, were you in like a special class in school for people that learned more slowly or something? Like, I physically cannot comprehend how you can be bad at League of Legends if you were that good at Dota. And it's so, I don't understand it that I legitimately wonder if you're lying to me about Dota. I know nothing about Dota. So like, you could probably lie to me and I believe it. But now I'm skeptical because you can't make it onto a starting roster over Chai.
And this was a player that has Diamond 5 on their account.
He's going to fucking like 3-stock me the next 10 games. Wait, who did Daddy Swift say you're full to?
This is Joey.
Joey
kept
wanted
asking
more.
for more, and I told him that you said he's full and you can't have any more.
Joey, we played a season together. We formed an eternal bond as teammates that ultimately ended in heartbreak that will always be a part of our soul for the rest of time.
Yeah, so Riot, also calling this out, because like, I fucking hate this. People who say the Riot algorithm holds you back, it does make it take an obscene number of games to get to your exact rank, but I'm telling you right now, there is not a single fucking plat player who is trapped in bronze, and anyone who thinks that is fucking wrong.
Dude, we've done case studies on this, but if you're like I always say, if you're more than like a tier away from where you should be, you just start winning all your games.
There was definitely some talk of losing Q team chat today.
Yeah, no, it doesn't exist. Like, sorry about you, but like, if you're sitting at your 51% win rate and you're in Silver 4, you're probably Silver 4. Like, that's where you're at. And like,
we used to do this. We would fuck around, like we'd pull people's accounts up on the TV at parties, and like we'd take turns like playing on the low elo accounts, and it'd be like, holy shit, dude, I'm fucking like shitty drunk right now, and I'm 22-2. Like, fucking bronze idiots.
Yeah. It's like, trying to get to the last part of it can be really rough. Like, if you're a gold 4 player and like you're like sitting at like silver 2 for a long time, that's totally reasonable. Like, you're not gonna hard carry any of your games like regularly, and like, sometimes you're gonna get lucky and you'll get to your fucking elo in like 15 games because you run on a hot streak, but like, sometimes you're just gonna struggle it out with like your 51% win, and you're just gonna slowly gain like 6 LP a week over like 10 weeks, and like, oh, there we go, I made it to silver 1, and then you have to do it again, and like, that sucks because like, it does really like to try and lock you in towards a goal there. But
yeah, like, but if you're like a gold 1 player and you're in silver 3, like
you're gonna go up. You're not
getting a 52% win rate. You're gonna post 60 plus. Candy brings up the people that play like 12 games a year, and obviously this is where the actual human analysis comes in. If you look at somebody's stats, like, oh, he only played 12 games last season, like maybe you just throw that rank out. Like, that's not a stat to go off of. You look at the data points that are real amounts of data, not that.
Other than that, do we have anything else for anyone here? Anything else anyone want to close on? I think we're
No, they've listened to us enough.
They've listened
Everybody
to us enough.
Home.
We've gone a little long, but we had a lot to talk about, and it's week 1, so it's always a little hype. So
we had 40-something viewers at the start. We've still got 36. They earned a full 45-50 minutes of our time. Good job, chat. Stock up Twitch chat. This was a good week for Twitch chat. I'm proud of you.
Actually, major stock up for Twitch chat. Other than that, Swift, say something that you want to say bye to everybody. We're cutting the stream in 5 seconds.